Let's talk theater with Julie Whitney Scott. Joe, you guys are getting ready to do White Plains, and you're directing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell our audience what is White Plains about?
Yeah, so this is the regional premiere of this play, and the whole premise of it starts, you find out, it just takes off like a rocket right at the beginning. There is two people are watching the Oscars, and as they're watching the Oscars, they see someone give an acceptance speech talking about the place where one of our main characters is from. And then we find out in the acceptance speech that the person who is winning the Oscar is actually saying that the person who's watching the Oscars was a bully to someone who killed themselves because of being bullied. So the play just kind of goes from there. And the questions of cancel culture, who's the bully, the person who bullied someone when they were in high school, or now the person who's outing them 15 years later. It also talks a little bit about like what it's like now to get into an argument that doesn't usually happen face to face anymore. There's a lot of internet fights going on right now, right? We use multiple social platforms to try to defame and belittle people. So it's very topical. It's a really, really interesting piece.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you, how does this particular play relate to what's going on right now? How did you go about casting your characters? There's 4 characters in this play, correct?
Correct.
What made you determine how you were going to cast?
Well, I'm always very cognizant of the need to have diversity and inclusion on stage. And so when we were having auditions for this, we auditioned for this piece in 2019. Because it was supposed to be a part of Evolution season in 2020. And when we had auditions, I made sure that I generated awareness about this to the depth and breadth of the Columbus theater community, because I wanted there to be representation on stage. I did not want this to look, especially because of the title of the piece, From White Plains. I wanted to make sure there's a line very early on that says, wow, that's a great title, because any small suburb next to some major metropolitan area, that's what it feels like. It feels like if you are different, if you are other, then you have the potential to be persecuted. So it was very important to me that the casting for this piece represented the depth and breadth of the Columbus theater community and any other community. So we do have a Filipino actor playing the person who won the Oscar. We also have a Peruvian actor who is playing the best friend of the high school bully. And I think that you'll understand why when you actually get a chance to check out the play.
And when is that play?
So the play begins previews next week, a week from today, May 13th, and then opens May 14th, and it runs May 14th, 15th, 16th. And then there are additional performances. There's a second week, May 20th through the 22nd.
Now, if I came to see this play, what would you want me to walk away with in my mind about White Plains?
That's a great question. I think what I hope people will take from it is that there are 3 sides to every story. All right, there's an argument. There's what person A thinks, there's what person B thinks, and then C is probably really what actually happened. And that's not to say that the person in this piece bullied someone, did something like what they did was wrong, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they should be blamed for everything that person took from what happened. All right, ditto for the man who had the Oscar acceptance speech, who then outed that person. That doesn't mean that what they did, that should not define that person for the rest of their life. I find that a lot. I find that a lot in everyday interactions with people, that we see something, and it used to be innocent until proven guilty, right, in a court of law. I would say everybody's guilty until proven innocent in a court of social media. And so I think that brings some interesting things to light.
Tell us a little bit about the playwright who wrote this.
So, fascinating. So there's one gentleman who actually gets credit for it, but this entire play was conceived from a series of improvisations. So the original cast got together and said, this is the scenario. Let's act it out. And then they acted it out. And from that series of improvisations, they came up with the script for From White Plains.
Wow, that's sort of like how Godspell
Yep.
was created.
In a chorus line. Yep.
Mhm. That's great. All right, Joe. Well, this is an evolution.
Yes, Evolution Theater Company. It's actually their first show and their first full season here at the Abbey. Mark and I collaborated on his one-person show, The Sissy Chronicles, in 2020. But this is the first actual production in a full season here at the Abbey. So we're really excited to welcome Evolution to the city of Dublin.
Well, I want to thank you, Joe, for once again being on Let's Talk Theater.
Thanks, Joe.
Let's talk theater with Julie Scott.